It is August. Guess what? And we are here. Welcome to Mahala Monday, everybody. Fantastic to be with you. My name is Dugald. As always, I am not alone. Rhoda is here.
Well, welcome, Dougal. Welcome to this cold day. And it is nice to be here. It's good to see you as well.
Likewise. But we are not alone. That is the big news, though. Of course, we've got a guest. You got a little bit of a glimpse of our wonderful guest joining us this evening, but we're going to really delve into it. But before we introduce you to our special guest this evening, what we would love you to do is do us the big favor. Please, definitely subscribe, like, and share. Do all those things, of course. But if you can subscribe, that will be really, really fantastic. And we really would love you to do it. It is an interactive show, so we look forward to your questions and comments. If you've got questions, as always, post them to Rhoda. She's looking forward to answer them. But also our special guest, he is armed with all the answers, and he will gladly respond politely. But we're looking forward to tonight. It is going to be brilliant. Now, before we introduce our guest, let's get straight into it. The month of July, we have Mandela Day, but it's Mandela month, isn't it?
It was Mandela month, Dougal. So we celebrate, obviously, Madiba, our father of our country, that, you know what, everybody, obviously, that time of the year, it is, like you said earlier, it feels like it's Christmas. Doesn't it feel like that? Because we look forward to that day. We look forward to that month even. We do. And especially from a perspective where you see Ubuntu on display. Oh, yes. Do
you know what I mean?
One nation doing exactly that.
Everybody trying to improve the world around them. Now, let's get into it, because a couple of weeks ago, we had Tasmeen Smith from Rise Against Hunger here with us on the show. And we spoke about what Rise Against Hunger does, and of course all the projects that they have. They were talking about an event, and then we recapped it on one of the other shows where we actually looked at some of the footage. Now, joining us from Rise Against Hunger is Dayne Myles, and it is such a privilege to have you here on Mahala Monday, sir. Welcome. Hello, how are you?
Good news.
Yeah, good.
Nice to see you again. Since you both joined us for Mandela Day as well.
Yes, we were there. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
It was good. It was good. But
so
listen,
you running around all over the place, obviously. I felt tired for your part.
Also, I have a step tracker, and I do over 15 kilometers worth of up and down on that day.
No.
What?
15 kilometers worth of up and downs.
Wow.
Well
I think you broke the world record there.
that's a bit of a shock when it comes to like in a space that big. 15 Ks.
15 Ks. The most exercise I get all year.
You must start walking, Dougal. You must join me.
That was great. But listen, it is wonderful to have you here, of course. In August, we certainly not out of the Mandela Day season, if I could call it that. We certainly not. But just to recap, before we really get into all the nitties and gritties, Rise Against Hunger, in a very small nutshell, just tell us what Rise Against Hunger is all about.
So we've worked out the fastest and most efficient way to pack meals. So production line style, we set up production lines. We need 15 people, and a team of 15 people can pack over 3,000 meals in an hour. It can be a lot more than that for some teams. But the idea is to take the hands that people have to give and condense it into a small space or larger venue relative to what we're doing, and pack as many meals as we can, because there is such a problem with hunger, not only around the world, but in our country. I mean, we see it every day. We see it at the traffic lights every day. I mean, they say 3.2 million children in South Africa go hungry every single day. So we're trying to, on a daily basis. So we try to combat that by saying, well, the more meals we can pack in a session, the more people we can get together, the more of those children we can feed. Mostly do it at ECD centres, so early childhood development centres, creches as we know them, because then children are not only getting good nutrition, but they're also getting an education. And in our context, if children are in a creche, they're also off the street and they're safe. So, you know, we use the saying, it starts with a meal. So it starts with a meal, but we're providing education, we're providing safety, and we're providing a future, a hopeful future for our children through something as simple as a meal.
And speaking of meals, what's in the meal?
So our meals are made up of, we start with a vitamin sachet, so 23 vitamins and minerals. We actually use those same vitamins and minerals around the world. Those are sponsored. You know, Kraft Heinz, the guys who do the tomato sauce, they do our vitamins for us as well. We start with that. We then have lentils and split peas. So lots of protein, lots of vitamins in that as well. Then soya, it's our protein, and rice. So good balanced meal. Every single packet that we pack feeds at least 6 children.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
6
good. 6 children.
Each packet, a packet.
A packet, yeah. 6 children.
And the packet size, I mean, I'm just trying to, for the viewers out there, is the size of a lentil packet?
Yeah, so it's about this big, so it's 440 grams on average.
There we go.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, it's a good cup of rice, it's a good cup of soya, so it's a good portion.
6, wow.
It is a good portion.
Wow,
And
wow.
6 meals in there for 6 meals for the pack. So that is fantastic. But the last time, and thank you for just sort of giving us a broad stroke here, because like I mentioned earlier in the intro, we spoke to Tasmeen. She was here. All right. And Rise Against Hunger, you guys were gearing up for the big Mandela Day food packing, the annual event, which you have at Grand West. You have been having it there for a couple of years. And tell us about the event. How did it go? How was things?
Yeah, so I mean, if we look at Grand West specifically, and we look at Cape Town specifically, I mean, there's a good picture on board that you can see that we have 24 teams, each team filling up a production line. And the event was a massive success. We definitely beat our target, what we had hoped to pack.
Wow.
And I mean, the day was lots of fun. Yeah, I mean, overall, I can't even say what, I mean, you can see from the video. We had lots of fun, lots of chaos again. My 15 kilometers walked and run up and down. Lots of different businesses involved. But overall, just a fantastic day where South Africans came together and made a difference to feed hungry children.
Yeah, so true. Yeah.
Sure. And that is brilliant. But I want to ask you, because this is the pertinent question. You touched on it now. You said you met your target. But before we even get to that, because I remember the last time, and we'll talk about that in a short little bit. Because I know Rhoda want to ask you something now about that event. But I know like the last time Tasmeen said something like 2.5 million, but we'll get to that.
We'll get there.
I'll pause, but that's what I want to know. You said you got your target.
Yeah, that's true. And obviously in Grand West, we had quite a bit of different companies that actually also then brought their teams on board. I think people like Nedbank, Standard Bank, Pepco was there, just to name a few. And for you, obviously, how do you market? How do you get these companies involved?
So it's quite simple. We sell teams. So we say to corporates, we'll provide everything you need. All you need to do is make a financial donation and then provide your people. Because as much as funding is a big thing, and if we have the money available, if we don't have the hands available on the day, we also can't do the job. So we put that out 3 or 4 months before the event. We send out a save the date. We work with most of these businesses throughout the year. And then, what's so important about the day is it's not just Grand West, it's across the country as well. So, we allow a corporate business to say, well, let me send my teams across the country as well, pack at all of these different venues to make as much of a difference or an impact as possible. And it's difficult. I think it's complicated for a business to just do their business. And now for them to try and do something that makes an impact like this. So we provide all of the tools for them that they can do that more easily.
And I'm sorry to say, but you know what, corporates and people out there, one day. It's one day. And not even a whole day, unless they run away from work. But I mean, it's 67 minutes, am I correct?
Yes, yeah.
So you don't need to be away all day. Send you guys. I mean, you don't have an excuse.
And there's a massive gathering, obviously, of volunteers doing the thing. Where's this one?
So that one's at Sandton Convention Centre. So that's our largest venue. They have, I think it was over 65 teams per session. And they actually run 4 sessions. They've outgrown their 3 sessions to 4. I think the 4th session was still a bit smaller because, again, businesses are less likely to join after a certain time of the day. Then this is Mall of Africa in the second one. Also, Johannesburg, trying to make a difference for everybody. And then, of course, throughout the country, we had various venues.
Happening. Yeah, so it's obviously all over. Johannesburg, Durban, Cape Town.
And the picture at the moment is slightly different because that was an in-office event. So this is a seating area of a local business, Woolworths Financial Services, where we set up our production lines in their offices And yeah, they provide their staff. So their staff don't even have to leave the office. They literally just have to leave their desks. And we do these all over the country as well, for the whole month as well as for the whole year, but obviously focusing on July.
Excellent. So there's companies, sorry Dougal, so there's companies out there that can contact you and they have their own little thing like that now. That's actually nice. I like.
Yeah, so I mean, that's the idea is we try to make it as easy as possible.
Yeah.
But, we set up in boardrooms, we set up in canteens, we set up in parking lots, basements, absolutely anywhere where we have access to some funding and access to hands. Because again, those are our two core ingredients, despite the other ingredients.
Two core ingredients.
And does it become difficult when you're working with food? Have you ever done outdoors?
So we have to be covered by food safety. So we do sometimes do marquees. But we do have to have a physical cover over us. In Cape Town, we've tried to be a little bit flexible, but obviously we all know the wind, which we experienced over the weekend. But yeah, we obviously do have to have a certain standard in terms of venue as well.
And that makes perfect sense, of course. So let's get into it, because Tasmeen, the last time she was here with us, she said that for July, and so these events were throughout. You had plenty of events, obviously, as you've just mentioned. You had a goal of 2.5 million meals. Now, I'll say this again. 2.5 million meals. Sure. I want you to answer that in a moment. But first, we've got people watching. We've got a comment. Let's do that. Can we do that first?
Yes, let's do that first.
Let's do that first. Dayne, sorry. Hold your answer there. I'm going to...
Hubert
says, Dayne, every step counts. Giving back is the heartbeat of hope. Good evening, guys. Good evening, Hubert. Well done, team. Rise against hunger. That's brilliant. Thank you, sir, for saying that. The fight against hunger and poverty doesn't end after 67 minutes. True impact lies in consistent action, long-term investment, and sustainable giving. Thank you, Hubert. It is. That is definitely a big call to action as well. I think for everybody to have it sustainable. But I want to get in on this, because 2.5 million, that was your target, which is, let me just say, what was last year's target? Can you recall?
I seem to think it was 2.1 or 2.2 was what we hoped to do last year.
Did you get it?
We did.
Last year?
Yes.
Last year we did.
Wow.
So we did pack over 2 million in the month last year.
But
I mean, we're going to get to whether we beat it this time.
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, I don't know.
So what I will say is Cape Town beat their target.
Oh, they
this year.
beat it.
So we improved by 150,000 meals this year.
Wow.
Which tells me that the people of Cape Town are getting more involved and more interested in not only making impact with us, but making impact in general.
150,000.
150,000 extra meals this year in July alone.
So what does that translate to in terms of the 6 packets in a meal, that sort of thing? But in terms of the number that's really important is how many children. And do you then equate it to like a child for a day for the year? How do you work it out?
Yeah, so I mean, all of our targets, we work at school, so at creche.
Yeah.
So there's an average of between 190 odd and 230 school days in a year. Obviously, a lot of the facilities close during the school holidays and close over December. So in other words, if you take the number of meals and divide it by 230, because we'll use the maximum number to be safe, that will give you how many children we feed for a whole year.
Wow. So there are the numbers, and those numbers that are displayed there. Talk us through those days, because those aren't telephone numbers.
Yeah, so Cape Town packed just over 600,000. Our Durban office packed just over 400,000. And of course, Joburg being the big one, packed over 1.9 million meals.
Wow.
So our target was 2.5, and we smashed that target with at least 2.9 million.
Wow. And I've got to ask you, is this, so 2.9 million meals, and this is like, obviously, there's still little bits coming in, and like, so it's provisional, but it's definitely not less than that.
So it's at least 2.9 million.
Yeah.
So, we call it a provisional number because we want to make sure that all of our numbers are audited. We want to make sure that we haven't made any mistakes. We're still double checking our paperwork. We want to be ethical in terms of what we communicate to the public as well. But it is at least 2.9 million. It's quite a safe number. Looking at the figures today from the feedback, it looks like it's significantly more than that. But at least almost 2.9 million meals packed.
So well done, everybody,
Yes.
wherever you are, whatever province, whatever centre you joined for Rise Against Hunger, if you were in the Cape, if you were in Gauteng, or wherever you were and you were part of this, very, very well done. And let me just remind you, 2.5 million meals, that was just the target for August, for July rather. It is exceeded, it's over 2.9 million as we speak and still ticking away. So,
well done.
Wow. My goodness, this is a big number.
It is massive.
I mean, I've said it to you earlier, but our target for the year is 7.5 million. So, you know, just short of half of our meals are packed in 1 month of the year. Imagine if we could do that capacity every single month, the difference we could make as a community and as an organization.
That will be quite significant. But in terms of previous years, if you now it's 7.5 million, what were we looking at previous years?
So last year we packed 6.9 million. I think we were 20 or 30,000 short of the 7 million meal mark.
Yeah.
We were just over 6 million the year before that. So we've increased by kind of a minimum of 400,000 to 500,000 per year.
Wow.
See, COVID was a difficult time for all of us. And COVID, the numbers came right down. Because during COVID we weren't able to pack, so we actually managed to employ teams of people in our warehouses to keep that kind of energy going. Schools closed, but we still were committed to making as much of an impact. It was before I joined the organization personally, but from what I understand, they still managed to pack over 4 million meals that year. So, there's still been a huge commitment to try and continue that.
Yeah.
Sure.
And of course, these meals all end up, like you said, at crashes within the ECD sector, which is brilliant. What do you describe this year's success to? Because this is very successful just within this month. I mean, that's a huge success.
It's massive.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of hard work, and it seems as if the attitude across the country is shifting towards more good. I mean, we as South Africans know that we are all out there to make a difference and to do good. But it just seems this year like there was a different energy.
Oh, wow.
That there was more people who wanted to get involved. I think the fact that we packed on Mandela Day itself maybe made a difference. And, our big events were on the day. That made a huge impact. But there definitely seems to be this attitude from corporate businesses to give more. And for individuals, I mean, the number of businesses who have grown their volunteering programs, who encourage their staff and who make it mandatory for their staff to get involved, all of those little elements, I think, played a big part in the successful month.
And numbers for, let's say, for Mandela Day, that can obviously increase. I mean, you could have more venues, you could have more, longer hours, all of this. That's very possible, but it comes down to having the hands.
That's it. We need hands and funds. So provided we've got enough money to get enough people and the ingredients, we've got to pay for the ingredients. I think a lot of people forget about that element. We do have to pay for the various things that we use. And then the more teams and more hands we have available. Our venues are fine out, obviously. Grand West is such a fantastic venue. We've still got some space to grow. Most of our other large venues around the country, we have the space to grow. But imagine if we could have extra venues in extra places, extra big venues where we plan for one day and on that day we make a maximum impact.
Wow. I got to ask you this. When you arrive at a packing event, do you go and you got 10 teams, it's so many people, you're only going to do this 4 hours. You kind of roughly know we can hit these kind of numbers. Do you over-cater? You have to.
Almost always over-cater. So the average we've learned per team in an hour will pack 3,240 meals. However, if we look at a day like Grand West, where we have an MC who pushes people a lot harder, some teams might pack as many as 6,000 meals in that 67 minutes. And if you look at the practical setup, everybody's the slowest for the first 10 minutes, then they speed up. The last 15 minutes are a little bit more productive, or the most productive.
Oh, wow.
But we find that the other months of the year we do 60 minutes, whereas for July we do 67 minutes. Those extra 7 minutes can add an extra 1,000 to 1,500 meals just in 7 minutes.
Oh,
And
wow.
you talk about the difference in 67 minutes that can be made. I mean, if Mandela had offered 90 years of service, then we'd be looking at 90 minutes, and we'd pack even more.
Exactly.
And obviously that reaches a point, after 90 minutes, people do start to slow down. But yeah, it's quite remarkable.
I think that does happen though, because people are there. I mean, we joke about it now, but I remember looking at some of the people's faces and they were like, yo. Because but there's also that bit where they like really just on autopilot. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
People are like, don't talk to me, just you know what I mean? They just
out of the way.
Thing,
Yeah.
They're really focused into it. And the more they hear the numbers, you're like, okay, well, 10 more, and then the 10 more becomes 20 more and 30, and it just keeps going and it just keeps going.
Yeah.
But it is important because you say such wonderful things in terms of we're all about giving and we all want to do that good part. And that is just super important. I'm too scared to ask you what the goals would be like for next year.
Too scared.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be an interesting conversation. I mean, definitely more than 7.5 million for the year would be the hope. I mean, it would be a minimum of 3, but I'm confident to say that we could probably increase that by almost 1 million meals. I mean, who says we can't do 3.5 million meals in a month? We definitely have the gees to do it. We definitely have the drive to do it. And I think if we can get enough hands on board, then we can definitely get there.
And Dane, in terms of, just to shift away from this day, because earlier you were touching base on what is happening in other countries, but Rise Against Hunger is it's got a global footprint.
Yeah, so we've got offices in 6 countries around the world.
Oh, wow.
We started in the US some 25 years ago.
25?
And we didn't start with meal packing originally, and they kind of got into that several years later and realized that this was the best way to do it. And then the first global office was in South Africa. So they saw a need and they saw a passion, and the first event was in KZN. And from that, the Americans, after visiting, said, well, there's no doubt we can make an impact here. And the office grew. We then have a European office based in Italy, a Malaysian office, which is in Malaysia, an office in the Philippines as well, and of course an office in India. So we pack meals like this around the world. We do other impact projects as well, but meal packing is still a core of what we do, but ending hunger is actually the core of what we do.
Yeah. That's your mission.
That's our mission, to end hunger. By 2030 was the original goal. I know that was in line with the UN. I know those goals have shifted based on COVID. But we believe that it is possible to end hunger. But we have to do it together. And that's not just together in this country, but together globally as well.
And everybody's got to work together. When you say that, I mean, but also the impact that you've made. I mean, you can see it on people's faces. Because everybody now has heard about Rise Against Hunger. That already tells you something. I don't think there are people who hasn't heard about it. You know what I mean? Exactly. Everybody who would have heard about it. Everybody can obviously see the need for it. They can obviously feel the impact that has been made positively. What are the feedback what's kind of the feedback that you've been getting from, let's say, recipients, from ECD centers? Do you engage with people?
Yes, I visit an ECD personally at least once a month on average, but we obviously have teams that go out on a daily basis, delivering meals on a monthly basis. And what's so interesting to see is even not from the verbal feedback, but the physical feedback. We have ECDs where you will arrive and you will see malnutrition. You will see very skinny children. You will see children whose eyes are slightly off color. And you can actually see that improvement over a period of time. And it's incredible to see that because the difference from a child and in a child's life, that tangible impact is huge. Our ECDs obviously love the meals. They love the opportunity to be a part of the program. But again, it starts with a meal. It doesn't end with a meal. So our program is actually to try and empower those ECDs to do better and be better. Food's expensive. We're all struggling with the cost of food. And by providing meals, which is one of the largest overhead expenses for a creche, they create a saving every month. And that saving can then be reinvested into that facility. And who's going to benefit? The children.
Exactly.
And that's the other thing I've seen. I mean, I've watched an ECD go from not having a wall to having a wall. Not having a high enough roof to the roof being raised. Not being painted to being painted. All of those little things and those little improvements that happen over a period of time, for me, is what speaks wonders.
Oh, my heart.
That is fantastic. So now, obviously, I mean, the year's not done. There's still plenty left as far as this calendar year is concerned. Any other events? Because we're within the sort of Mandela month season. So I'm sure August is not just going to go idly by without a couple of events, because you just mentioned a short while you were in George doing something.
Yeah, so I mean, the team in Cape Town packed 35,000 meals on Saturday, and that was already August.
Wow.
You know, we've got another 30,000 scheduled for the week. We've got in Cape Town, you know, Joburg has 100,000 scheduled for the week. This is something we do throughout the year.
Throughout the year, oh wow.
You know, and even Mandela said, make every day a Mandela Day.
Thank you very much.
You know, and as an organization, we obviously don't just focus on July, although it is, you know, 40% of what we do in the year, we still need to make up the rest. So every single week we have events with corporates, we pack at universities, we pack at schools. There are opportunities for volunteers to get involved at shopping centres around the country. Our website has a tab called Volunteer Events, and on that is you know, publication of where various events are happening throughout the country throughout the year.
Oh wow!
Anybody can get involved with that. The event numbers are a little bit low at the moment while we're all catching our breath. But in the next couple of days, we've scheduled the next 3 months worth of volunteer events. And the idea is to try and make it as accessible for people as possible. So that's shopping centres, schools, I mean, and then corporate businesses. Whoever wants to coordinate a meal packing event with us just needs to get in touch. It's as simple as that.
And this is important to touch, because you mentioned schools. There's no age restriction, because sometimes people think that, like, you know, you got to be a certain age before you can volunteer. There wasn't, because at this event that we were at, there were people. I remember that one lady.
For the P.
I'm going to get to her name now. It wasn't Merle, but anyway, she was 84 years old.
Yeah.
I still spoke to her. She was 84. I also spoke to a young man who was 9.
Also with the volunteers?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
He's a child of one of the donors. I met him as well. Yeah. My daughter's 4.5. She packs with us.
Oh,
she gets set up at the sticker station with a chair, and she loves stickers. It is something that every age group can get involved in.
And for me also, I mean, what stands out for me is the fact that anybody out there, if you're just wanting to help, you don't have to do the packing. It's really volunteering, help, bring out the bags, bring out, assist with the stickers. Because in many cases, like I've seen, the companies are doing the packing. They just need volunteers to bring the food, bring the things, and assist the teams. So it's not just having to pack, guys. It's actually also just helping to manage, run the whole show.
And I think that's something that people who haven't been in our events don't realize is, you know, when you're packing that number of meals, that's a lot of cups of rice.
Oh,
you know, and a 10 kg bag of rice gets carried to a table every 2-3 minutes.
I was going to say.
You know, it's that energy as well that's needed. So, some things we need more able-bodied people, but it really does have a wide range, which is so important. We can get everybody involved.
And there's some footage of the event where...
there's the lady.
I think it's weeks ago.
Yeah.
Marsha.
You'll get to it.
It's going to come to me. It is going to come to me. Yeah, and she was lovely. And she told me, like, the first thing is, like, you know, I'm 84. I'm like, wow. It's like, I remember that. That's what she said. But how do people get involved? Because organizations, businesses, individuals, everybody's looking at this now going, okay, do they just go to your website? Is it that simple?
It's that simple. There's space to contact us if you have questions, if you're not so sure what to do. That's the easiest.
Yeah.
You can join a volunteer meal packing event. You know, you can sign up online, book your slot. It's as simple as that. But obviously, you know, I mentioned already, these events cost money.
Yeah.
There's opportunities on our website for people to give. One meal portion costs us R3.70.
Oh my
okay, that's one portion.
One portion. So for 74 Rand, just over $70, you can feed a child at school just by uploading your credit card information, and you can then commit to feeding one child every single month for the next 12 months, or for as long as you choose, or 2 children, or 3 children, or 4 children.
74 Rand.
74 Rand.
That's it.
That's it. It's only 21 school days in a month.
Oh, 21 school days in a
74
month.
Rand. There you have it. So you go to the website, so individuals, whoever, you can just make a donation, and it's as easy as that.
That's it. Or as a corporate business, you can book a team. So you can, you know, we work out how many volunteers do you have, how many meals do we anticipate your team is going to pack. we work out what that looks like, and then you pay that same R3.70 per meal. So I mean, if you were to times our July numbers by R3.70, you'll see that's what it costs us to make that impact. And that's everything from start to finish. So, yeah, we obviously have corporate sponsors who sponsor vehicles and warehousing and space and people and all of that kind of thing. You know, we don't just, you know, we try to be as creative as possible to get people to be able to assist in as many ways as possible.
And I just, you know, my brain was short-circuiting right now because I'm thinking the warehouse. And I mean, I'm looking just the packing right now. Those things need to get to a warehouse. And from that point on, it needs to go out, distributed. Oh, wow. I haven't even thought of that. Just the admin on that alone. Obviously, you definitely need sponsors for that. It can't just be the vehicles don't run on air.
So, I mean, we've got a 450 square meter warehouse in Cape Town. That warehouse is so full that 25 pallets of our meal packed boxes are currently being stored at Bargain Books' warehouse. As their contribution to us. You know, they give us storage space. You know, they share, we're in the same office park as them. And it's simple things like that where every single person can become what we call a hunger champion. All you have to do is think outside the box a little bit.
I like it.
You know, we've had forklifts sponsored. We have truck sponsorships. We have meal sponsorships in the month of, you know, throughout the year in the month of July. Absolutely anything you can imagine is able to come together to make that impact.
And it's a good thing we're talking about this in terms of storage, because what we've got to realize is it's not like once it's there, it remains there.
It doesn't.
It literally, it moves. So, but you can't be sitting with an empty storage. If you need more storage space, that's just like a good problem to have.
That's a good problem to have.
You know what I mean? But you need to constantly get that problem. So obviously, whatever you have in your warehouse before it goes out for distribution, it doesn't remain long, does it?
We have about a 4 to 6 month cycle. A little bit more after July because obviously we pack so much. But by the end of the year, half of what is currently in our warehouse will be gone. And that'll be inside a child's stomach somewhere in the Western Cape. Because that's the other thing that we're so specific about, is meals packed in the Western Cape stay in the Western Cape. Meals packed in South Africa stay in South Africa. So we talk about being a global organization and people sometimes get concerned about that. But for us, every single meal packed in South Africa feeds a child in South Africa.
And it would be then, so whatever's packed in this province will be in this province, and the next province will sort of in that area. Now, in terms of distribution, where it goes to the ECD centers, do they apply? Do they contact you? Or is that through your supply chain, through your network that you work?
Again, so we handle the whole process from the sourcing of the ingredients to the deliveries themselves. So there's a space on the website as well for ECDs to get in touch and to reach out to us. We obviously are quite strict. We do assessments of the ECDs as well. We want to make sure that the meals go to places that are going to use them and use them effectively. But we've got a team across the country that facilitates that. And who every single month will visit those ECDs, track those ECDs, see what's happening, see what's changing, but also touches base with them on a monthly basis. We then obviously record those figures because we also want to make sure that no meal is wasted. So we're able to know exactly where all of our meals are at any time. And yeah, I mean, again, it's another huge undertaking.
I was going to say.
Vehicles, trucks, hands, and that's across the country. So we feed at ECDs in 8 out of 9 provinces every single month. The Northern Cape, we go in and out, but all of the other provinces, we coordinate meals going out to creches across the country.
It is remarkable. With us, of course, Dayne Myles, who is with Rise Against Hunger. The target was met, which was set out for the month to have over 2.5 million meals. Well, it is well over 2.9, and that number is going to go a little bit up as well, which is really brilliant. But there is a comment that we just want to focus on, so thank you very much. Keep them coming. If you've got a question as well, if you definitely ask Dayne right now, if you have a question for our guest. Mark says, Mark Sauls, how's it, Mark? Who says over 3,000 meals in an hour. That is remarkable. It is.
It is.
It is.
Hey, you bet again.
Can't we introduce a Mahala Monday barometer to track how we're doing each month? Something visible and motivating that shows how every contribution counts and how close we are to feeding more lives.
Oh, wow, that sounds good.
Not a bad idea.
Not bad, Hubert,
That's
at
not
all.
Do you have something like that running within your organization?
We do. I mean, we have various ones. So some of our donors track that on a monthly basis. So one of our donors, for example, packed their 5 millionth meal on Friday.
Oh, wow.
And not local, although we pack with them locally. The majority of their input is in the US. But at any time, we are tracking exactly how many meals are being packed, not only in South Africa, but around the world.
Oh,
and we have various targets. We have a local donor, Cape Town-based donor, who they just reached their 1 million meal mark.
Wow.
So they packed 102,000 meals in July, I think it was. And that brought them over 1 million meals for their business alone.
Yeah, that's nice. We must speak to our director.
These are big numbers. These are really, really, really big numbers. This is all I can say. These are, but it's good.
It's good to have good numbers.
Good. These are good numbers.
Is there still comments that there, or are we good? Okay.
We'll check. Yeah. So that is it. So people can get involved very easy. You can go to the website. They can, of course, make a financial contribution. They can, you said it's just over 3 Rand 70. That is what it is. 74 Rand, that is one child for the month. Come on, 74 Rand. You know, you can do that. You can get Rise Against Hunger to come to your work. They will set up in your office or whatever it is. And you can pack and you get everybody, and it's great for a great vibe, because you actually, and I like that. It was all fantastic to donate, but I like it this is what we've done. Look, there it is.
Exactly.
There it is, and especially with those slides coming up, and like it's how many meals, that's how many children. It really adds as a big motivator, though. I must say the one that we were at, Rhoda, that happened at Grand West, that was good. No voice at the end of the day.
I was just going to say. And I like what Dave said at the end of the day, you were pushing everyone. Because, you know, I was listening to him. I told him on the previous show, and I said, you know what, I was listening to you, and I felt like I wasn't packing, but I felt like I needed to move faster. Come, because you created that hype. And it's exactly that makes it.
You missed the opportunity. I should have started
packing, but but he made me feel, and I think that makes a big difference, you know, when you have your. Maybe just look at that, Dugald. I'm what's naming for you here.
I see you. You're pushing for me.
Pushing for you here.
You
want more meals?
We're gonna have to, because that is the question. How do we improve on this?
Yes. How do we improve? How do we push it?
More hands, more money.
There we go. Simple as that, people.
Simple as that. We need
more
hands, more money.
Come on,
and
guys.
if we have those two together, we know we can rely on businesses like Grand West to provide a venue to get bigger. We know that we can look to that part of civil society, but we just need more hands alongside that.
You need more hands. And you mentioned all those other corporates that get involved in it as well, and which is really fantastic. But it can really grow into a great network, because this is also, let me just. From my experience watching this as well, this is also a great team building. You know what I mean? I don't want to say it that way, but it's also a wonderful team building thing, because people were really, there was great competition between, especially that one session. And when we say session, we're talking about the 67 minutes period. That one session, there were 2 financial services standing next to each other, whether that was by design or whatever, but they were literally. And, you know, clearly marked in their sort of company's gear and everything. And they were having a good go at each other because, you know, in terms of the meal. So there was really a great vibe. And at the end of the day, everybody was hugging and just part of a wonderful
It was fun. Yeah.
You know, and we will call it a team builder, because that's what it is. And if your business doesn't want to make an impact, but you need a team builder and you've got a budget for team building, then let's do it.
Yes.
Doesn't matter whether if that end of it, then whatever we need to do to make sure that those children are fed, whether that's to just do it as a team builder or to do it as an impact-focused event, we are happy to do either. Because at the end of the day, a child gets fed. You can't argue with that.
No, you can't argue with that. So this month, obviously, is not going to be 2.9 million, the month of August. No.
So in Cape Town, we'll hope to pack between 150 and 200,000 meals.
Wow.
And it's one of our quieter months. But again, we've got World Food Day coming up in October, and the 22nd of October, 21st or 22nd. I might have the date wrong. But again, another opportunity to bring awareness to a global problem, a South African problem, a Cape Town problem, and again to invite people to join hands and make an impact again.
I must do a shout out because I looked at those numbers. Just when we had those province numbers up there, but I mean the numbers that we got at Gauteng, those were brilliant.
Gee whiz.
That's proper big.
Yeah.
Hey, and that speaks to your point. More hands.
More hands.
It's what it is. I mean that is
more funding.
over 600,000 there, 400,000. These are impressive numbers. And look where there's an extra hand or two, just shy of 2 million.
Just shy of 2 million.
I mean that is proper. So well done in terms of that. And that is all what has just has happened over the month of July. Those are the numbers we're looking at. Dane, all I can say is I wish you guys all the best. We wish you all the best of luck with everything, and well done too for the amazing work that you've done. This is a meaningful, wonderful impact, and especially on the future as well for the little people. This is really incredible. I mean, you got to probably go home every day with a big smile, thinking like, we did well yesterday.
Well, some days I go home very tired.
I was just gonna say, but it's all worth it.
And that's what we need to always connect it to. Is we need to remember, it's not just a fun meal packing event. It's not just an event. It's not just a day. Where are those meals ending up? And we allow the opportunity for donors and individuals to come and visit some of the ECDs and creches we support to actually see where the meals go. We are incredibly transparent. We want people to trust the work that we're doing, and we allow that as an opportunity to come and say, well, maybe there's something else that you can do. We do ECD improvement projects, we do garden projects. There's other things that we do that we can maybe talk about another time. But there are many, many opportunities. But at the end of the day, it starts with a meal.
Starts with a meal. Oh, beautiful.
All I can say is thank you, mate, for coming. It's really great seeing you, Dane, man. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much.
Really wonderful for seeing you again. And thank you so much for being here. And once again, well done on all the amazing work. And I hope your target next year is bigger than somewhere add another
and we
zero.
must push it. I just feel next year we must start early on the show already and start punting it.
Yeah, no, we definitely do. We definitely do. We're gonna have to add some numbers here. We're gonna have to add some numbers.
I do believe there's a comment.
But before Dane goes, let's see. Yeah, Hubert says Dane challenged the big corporates to come on to the Mandela
show.
Mahala Monday show and let them share their wins, let them tell their story or explain their silence. Well,
sure.
This is it. Yeah, it's putting them to the point.
And Kayla.
Kayla says, amazing work. Yes, thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Hubert. It is indeed very, very much amazing work that is taking place. And it is just fantastic. But once again, it's amazing when people just get together and do a change. I can't really recall the numbers that was in Cape Town that day where we were at the event, but I know it was
247,000.
247,000? Sure.
Wow.
And that was how many children per year? Do you recall?
That should be over 10,000 children for a year total.
Sure. 10,000 children for the year.
And you started off the show by saying we are told that 3.2 million children
suffer from chronic hunger every single day in South Africa.
Chronic hunger.
3.2. So we
got a way to go.
We got a way to go. We got a way to go. We got a way
Yeah.
to go. We got a way to go. That is, that is a significant number. It is a big number. But every little bit helps, and we just constantly got to strive to do better, do more, and do our best. That is what we got to do. And of course, organizations like Rise Against Hunger, their mission is very, very simple. It's end hunger.
End hunger.
And like Dane said so wonderfully, he said it all starts with a meal, because once you have a meal, everything just becomes better and easier after that.
Exactly.
But Dane, once again, thanks for joining us, mate. Absolutely wonderful to have you here. Thanks again for coming in.
Awesome. Thank you.
So that was it, everybody. That was Dane Myles from Rise Against Hunger. Yes, it all starts with a meal. And it's amazing when people, just even business people, when they meet each other, says, oh, let's have coffee. Oh, let's have a meal, you know. And then sometimes just a great idea gets formed and something that redefines how we operate as humans. And this is really what it's all about. So it boils down to the very same thing. Once it all starts with a meal, and from there things just get better and better and better. But what you got to do is definitely get involved.
Yes.
This is Rise Against Hunger certainly has a big Mandela Monday stamp of approval. So you definitely got to check it. It's a fabulous organization. They do fabulous, fabulous work. And they, of course, the recipients of the meals that are packed, that is proudly sponsored by all these amazing donors in terms of volunteerism and also the purchasing of the goods and how everything is sourced and everything is there, the menus, all of that logistically, everything that is there.
Yeah.
It goes to ECD centers, the creches. This is where it goes.
The foundation.
It's much needed. That is where it's going. And if we got a number of 3.2 million, boy, we've got a lot of work to do as a community and society in order to get that number down. But there's one way for you to do it. Get involved. So visit the Rise Against Hunger website. You can make a donation. 74 Rand a month. That's a child for a year. As a corporate, you want to do at least hundreds of children or whatever. Do that. Get those numbers in. And also get the packing events at your business.
Yeah.
Great for Friday afternoon, even if you want to do it on a Saturday. But also check out the Rise Against Hunger website, because they will have these events across the board, wherever you are in the land. And if you're just there for an hour at a certain shopping center, pop in, take the kids, take the whole family, take Oma if you have to, take everybody that you can go and help and pack a meal. You're definitely going to make a difference. This is what it's about. But the big thing is, once we all start thinking that way, it really becomes a snowball effect, Rhoda. It really becomes, because the 3.2 number, unless we don't actively, really drastically do something about it, we're never really going to catch the number. The only other thing is that number is going to spiral a little bit out of control.
Definitely.
But 2.9 million in the month of July. Take a bow. Wherever you are, well done.
Well
Thank
done.
you so much. Thank you so much for doing that. That definitely goes a long way.
Yeah.
Is that it?
That's it, Dougal. Have a fabulous week, everybody, and stay warm.
And we'll see you soon on the next Mahala Monday. Thank you to all the wonderful comments. Thank you to our guest, Dane, who joined us here. But don't forget, please subscribe. And we will be back with you soon on Mahala Monday. Until next time, bye-bye.
Bye.